gonna stand there crying at back of the bench. Back in the bench, nigga. Ain't no nostalgia to this shit, man. It was just the street and the game and what happened with it. Yeah. Right. Yo, back. Stand there crying at back of the bench.
Good evening, it's the Solution Podcast, and today I have my guest Akil Parker, and my man Cam is going to show up later on. And tonight's topic is hip hop and the difference between today and yesterday, and the effects it had on the youth. So, what's up, Akil? What's going on with you?
Everything's good, man. You know, teaching as usual, building with the youth.
Okay.
You know, I posted something actually that's a little bit relevant to this. I think you might have commented on it already, but I was talking about how I was talking to the young brother last week that's in my geometry class. He's an 11th grader actually, and we was talking about hip hop, and we was talking about how. Well, I was talking about how, like, you know, at my age, like when I was their age, I was listening to Nas, Jay, and Lox, and people like that. And I still am now, and I still can. So then I asked him, I said, you know, would you still listen to Lil Uzi, like, when you're 40 years old? And he was like, no, like, I won't be listening to him. Like, he's good for now, and he knows how to make good songs and get you hype and everything, but he was like, I can't see myself listening to him like when I'm 40 years old. I thought that was interesting. Like that I was glad to see that he was able to make that, like, you know, salient point like that, and, you know, be thinking on that level, thinking about his future and like kind of like doing like an analysis, I guess, of his own musical taste and I guess the whole landscape of music in general. But then again, he might be wrong. Like he might end up, you know, listening to him when he's 40, you know, even if Lil Uzi is or is not still making music 20, 25 years from now.
I think what he was trying to say was, like, you know how when you're a little kid, you was watching Sesame Street and SpongeBob SquarePants or what have you, and then after a while, you know, you outgrow. It doesn't meet your where you are intellectually anymore, so you don't go back to that. And I think that the Migos and Lil Uzi and these other new jacks, they not meeting us where we are intellectually. Right. So you gotta be on dumb shit for real to I guess to relate to it.
Yeah, that brings back another question I had, and I don't even know that we could even come to like a conclusive answer to this, but in terms of like our musical taste being different from the way it might have been 20 years ago or 30 years ago, does that represent growth on our part, or does that represent the regression of rap in general?
Oh, that's a great question, because I would assume that it's both, because it was to me, because I'm so passionate about hip hop, I noticed a gradual recession, I guess, in the music, like from Grandmaster Caz and Melly Mel and them, and then you get all the way up to the lyrical genius Nasty Nas, and then since Illmatic came out, it seemed like it was going right back down to where the Sugar Hill Gang had it. Like real basic rhyme, like dudes will have, I think Nas and Jay-Z and the Jizza Genius and dudes like J. Rue the Damager had lyrical content. They had a cadence, like a flow over the track, and they had the wordplay and the deep metaphors, and everything coincide with the topic of the song, which made the song that much more powerful. You understand? So if Nas says, this New York state of mind, he's rapping about a New York state of mind and what that entails. And the poetry was super deep. But now it's like you might have a song titled one thing and then the cat is rapping about something else, or he just freestyling. And it's like, it's in his rhymes, one line doesn't coincide with the last line he just said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the intellect is what's lost in hip hop. And you lose the feeling because people just making songs for the money. And you can feel the difference. Like there's no culture in it. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I feel where you come from. And I think one of the ways in which it's made obvious when they just make songs for the money, when you look like the collaborations and the posse tracks, we used to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 2017, 2016 or 2015, 2014 maybe, probably going back, years before that too, but I don't know that there's a comparable version of like a symphony, you know what I'm saying? Or even like a band from TV with Nori, Cam, Jada, Styles, Big Pun, Nature, you know what I mean? Like, or like John Blaze with Nas, Fat Joe, Big Pun, Raekwon. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that there are those like versions. Like, cause I mean, a lot of different people have gotten together and made songs, but it's kind of like they're just on the song, more contemporary. They're just on the song because they're popular, and because they're on the song, that's going to get radio play and that's going to get money for these different record companies. But it's not really, there's no like real passion involved. Nobody's trying to out rap each other. You know what I mean? Nobody's like really putting like, their integrity on the line, and they're like, cause like nobody really cares. It's like, I'm a star, I can sell out arenas, and that's all that matters. So I'm on here, and anything I say is almost like it doesn't, the content itself and the song or their verse doesn't have to be hot, because the public and the way they're marketed the public feels that they're hot. So anything they say, like by default, people would think that it's hot, even if it's not hot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas back in the day, it was more like, maybe not in every situation, but in a lot of situations, it was like, we would really sit and listen. Like we could have like whole conversations even right now, like about, who had the best verse on this song, who had the best verse on that song. You know what I mean? And then, or like, take a song like Verbal Intercourse. Like, who had the best verse? Was it Nas? Was it Ray? Or was it Ghost? You know what I'm saying? Like, we could do that, but like a lot of these more contemporary collaborations, like, oh, this person's on this song featuring so and so. Like, that's not even really a valid conversation. It's just like, oh, okay, well, they're all on there. That's cool.
But I you know what? I equate what I would want to say first is that there's a fine line between whack shit and well, let me start over. It's what I'm trying to say is you can clearly see where the line is drawn in the sand, like between somebody who is passionate about the music and somebody who just wants to make money. Right. So like I go back to Big and Pac. And a lot of my friends, we used to have these arguments. Oh my God. People was like, oh, Ready to Die is better than Illmatic. And I'm like, it can't be. No, Big and Pac, just like today, my man brought up, he had this list of MCs, like Team A versus Team B. And I'm like, Tupac shouldn't even be in the equation. He's not dope on that level. like I was telling my man earlier, I said, he's more like a Chuck D. I think Chuck D's super dope, but when it comes to like Rakim status or Kane, like you can't put Chuck D in the conversation with them. You could judge Chuck D on his overall songs, on his music. You can't put him up and say, yo, he's like a Kool G Rap or something. Because Kool G Rap on a lyrical side is like one of the greatest. Rakim is the greatest. And I think these dudes, like who say like Big and Pac are the best. Nah, Big and Pac are your favorites. It's a difference. You can say, yo, Big is my favorite MC, but he not the best. And in fact, he is not, in my opinion, he doesn't even rank in the top 20, 25. He's way down there. Like, if I really put my mind to it, I could come up with 50 names probably better than Big, in my opinion. And I'm basing this off of strictly lyricism. Because I think when Big got famous at a time, like in 1994, when OC was out, J. Rue was out, Pete and CL was out, Nas, it was a real time to be lyrical. Like, you had to be lyrical. You had to have skill. And then when he says birthdays was the worst days, now we drink champagne when we thirsty, I was like, yo, dog, you got to get out of here with that. We not doing that no more. You know what I'm saying? We somewhere else with it. Like, Nas is saying some real ill shit. Like, I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. It's like, whew, his poetry is deep. And then it's like him, like Biggie and Pac, I don't think they rate. Now, that, to me, once you start putting them in those conversations, that's when the dumbing down of hip hop starts. So when like both of them passed away by 98. And I think 98 is the official start of what we have today. It went downhill fast, top speed, downhill into the basement. And now, now we got the Migos. Now we got Lil Uzi Vert and all these other dudes I can't even name. And the thing is, all their music sounds the same. Like, I can't even make a distinction on who is who. And I think that's really bad in hip hop.
I think the way it's pulled and the way it's distributed and get it out we're supposed to. I think it's like the cycle is like we're at the point of they call mass customization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody is supposed to sound like.
Hello? Hold on, you breaking up. Can you repeat that?
I was saying, I think we're in the stage of mass customization now, and which makes it easier to market the product. And like, you're not supposed to be able to like tell a difference, or it's supposed to all be the same. So I guess that makes it easier for the corporation to sell it to us. They don't gotta take the time to think of, okay, well, this person is like this, so he'll want this niche market. And then this person is like this, so he'll want this niche market. She's like this, so she'll appeal to this niche market. You make it easier by just saying, well, we just don't make everybody be the same, and then say the same thing and sound the same way overall. And then, we just put it out there,
mm-hmm.
and we don't got to do that much work. And we're gonna the way it's set up now, because people are conditioned to want whatever we sell and whatever we say. Whatever we say is cool, so they will say cool.
Hey, yo, do me a favor.
Yeah.
I gotta put this shit. Because you're breaking up. I was wondering if you could just hang up and call the show right back.
stand there crying that goddamn shit. Dang, we're back in the thing, nigga. Ain't no nostalgia to this shit, man. It's just the street.
All right.
Al, you can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good now. All right. Yo, did you hear the conversation DJ Vlad had with Lord Jamar about where he ranks Black Thought as an MC? And,
nah, I didn't.
Yo, to me it was insulting, because I think he said Lil Wayne was way better. I forgot who the comparison was made between, but I know he said like Black Thought wasn't that good. And I was like, yo, see, like Beanie Siegel, when he was talking to Charlemagne, they was talking about, gangster stuff, but Beanie Siegel said everybody not qualified to have an opinion. And I said I had to agree with that when it comes to hip hop. Like everybody has an opinion, but everybody's not qualified to have one. And that's real. Because we, like LeVar, what's his boy name? Lonzo Ball from the Lakers.
Yeah.
He said Nas was trash. Yo, and I said, this shit is crazy. Like, how could you?
I thought if they've actually listened.
Huh?
I thought if they've actually listened, you know what I'm saying, like listen to them, and but then even with that, even if they did listen, I wonder about that, because I wonder even if they, like, if he said Nas was trash, and then you gave him like Nas's whole catalog from Illmatic up to Life is Good, and over like the course of like a week or 2 weeks had him listen regularly to every song. I don't know that with his era, with his generation, being a part of his generation in that era. I mean, I don't know his mindset specifically, but I wonder if he would even be able to appreciate it really, because it has a lot to do with like the time frame, the way the culture was at the time, the environment, the physical environment, the way the world was the way school was socializing us, the way we were being educated, like all those things played a part in our ability to appreciate them. Even though there's another thing, I think a lot of Nas's music and many other people, many timeless music, just like a lot of 70s and 1960s R&B. I think Nas is timeless music, but even still, maybe some people still might not be able to feel it. I think Jay's made some timeless music. I think, just people where we could just, just throw it on right now and just listen to it and vibe out.
Yeah, because I was wondering why. Like, I really listened to the Migos, like, because I try not to be one of the old school haters. You know what I'm saying? So I really tried to give it a listen. Like, okay, let's hear what the young boys is talking about. And I just can't feel it. I don't know what it is. It's like, I listen to the Bad and Bougie. I understand that the beat is okay. Like, I guess if you was at the club or whatever and you drunk or high, you know what I mean? Because all I hear is the hi-hats and the bass, and they spitting some clever type of flow, but I don't hear any words for real. I mean, they are words, but I can't really make it out. Like, you really gotta listen, and then it's not that deep. It ain't. In other words, listening ain't that important, because it ain't gonna be no payoff. Like, you listen hard to a Rakim verse because he really said something at the end of the day, and you just caught them how deep the metaphor was. And you're like, hold up, let me bring that shit back. Damn, he said what? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, ain't doing it now. And I think the dumbing down of hip hop is a correlation with the dumbing down of the children. Because the children don't want to listen. They don't want to, like, part of learning was like when you listen to KRS-One or X-Clan or something, they mention a name and then you go, oh, who was that? Who was he talking about? Or what did that line mean?
Right.
And then you go,
you gotta look that up. You gotta think
yeah.
about it. Or somebody that might know about it, or ask somebody.
Exactly.
You know, now it's like the children think if it requires thinking and them being focused, you know, and actually applying their attention span, they'll say you're talking too much. They want everything real quick.
Yeah.
You gotta get it. You gotta get it to me. If I can't get this in like 15 seconds, I don't want to hear it.
Right. And it got something to do with that.
That's another thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like they're not even listening to whole albums. Now with the technology, like how we used to have the tapes, we had to listen. I mean, we didn't always listen to the whole tape, but sometimes it was just easier to just put the tape on and just let it play. You might fast forward.
Because fast forward and rewinding was too much. You know what I mean? And the tapes, people had to really put an album together back then. Yeah. It wasn't too much of, you know, having one song. Like I know certain MCs did that. Make sure your single is banging and then your album is going to sell. I know that was one of the formulas, like one of them 5 MC types might put together an album like that. But you listen to a Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, or Midnight Marauders, you could basically put that whole album, just let it rock. You know what I'm saying? 93 to Infinity, Sunrise in the East, of course, Illmatic, it's Reasonable Doubt, the Purple Tape, you know, Only Built for Cuban Links, that joint. It's a slew of them. Like you could put a whole bunch of them albums from the 90s in and just let them rock all the way through. But now, so I think like first of all, the lyrical content ain't deep. It's lame brain.
Nope.
And I think, and I don't want to insult anybody, but it just feels like you gotta be a lame brain to even appreciate it. Because it's so simple, it's so simplistic. And it's like if you come from my age, I don't know how you even rock into this. You know what I mean? Because all the best music is in the past. It's not like they coming up with beats that are better than Pete Rock's or beats that are better than Premier's or lyrics that like they saying stuff better than Nas or saying stuff like even Big L and Big Pun. Like they was crazy lyrical. And now it's like, it's trash. It's trash all over the radio. It's trash all over the TV. It's like, yo, I don't get it. Well, I get it, but I don't know why people like this shit. You know what I mean? When it's like, you can go on YouTube and you could pretty much, you can hear any song, even like stuff that never really came out. And for you to sit back and choose to listen to Migos or whoever else, when you could listen to, you know, Little Brother, or you could listen to like some real soul music that'll stick to your ribs. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it though.
The mob be kicking, musician, inflicting composition of pain. I'm like Scarface, sniffing cocaine, holding an M16. See with the pen, I'm extreme. Now, bullet holes left in my peepholes. I'm suited up with street clothes. Hand me a 9 and out the beat flows. See, that kind of stuff right there, man. He was, he was just on it back then, man. And it's like these young cats, they don't understand. Like for Lonzo Ball to even bring that, like, why Nas? Because Nas got the greatest album ever made in hip hop. You can't really speak on that dude.
Tommy, how old are you?
Greg,
you're 19. I just turned 14.
My bad. But I'm
you know, so we ain't really never had no old money.
Just to make a quick comparison.
New money though.
It's like
Hey, raindrop, drop top, smoking on cooking the hot pot, fucking on your bitch, yeah, that, cooking up dope in the crock pot. We came from nothing to something, nigga. I don't try nobody, grip the trigger. Nobody call up the gang and they come and get gang. Cry me a river, give you a tissue. It's bad and bullshit, bad. Cooking up dope with a Uzi. My niggas is
See, it's it makes me laugh because it's really not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased. I don't know. I don't hear the talent. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear the talent from the producer on the track. I don't hear the talent in what he's doing. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school. I'm just stuck. I don't know. But it just seemed like, you know what I mean? It just seemed like hip hop went down the tubes, man. Ain't coming back. Cause you familiar?
Yo, Al, it's Cam. I'm in the room.
Oh, yo, what's up, Cam?
What's up, man?
What's up? What's going on?
What's going on, Cam?
Now, that other chick, what's her name? The famous one, the girl, I guess. Yeah. I listened to her song, and she.
Oh, that Yellow?
Yeah. And she sound retarded. Like, I'm like, yo, how is this the cool shit? Like, why do people like it? You know what I'm saying? I can't.
I think it's the beat. I think it's always the beat. Yeah, but I think like we had of course we had the Premiers and the Pete Rocks and the RZAs and back in the day the beat would attract us, but then along with the beat you had substance in the lyrical content,
right?
And it was poetic,
right?
So there was that too. But nowadays it's like party music. So that's what a lot of the rap is. It's like party music.
Yeah, but
Jesus red bottoms, Jesus bloody shoes. Hit the school, I can get them both. I don't wanna choose, and I'm quick, cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move.
But can you even dance to that? That's the question. Like, is that dance music? Like,
I don't know. You just look cool, do a 2-step, bob your head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the way she's rapping is not even. It's like she sounds like she's dumb. I mean, no offense, but that's just what it sounds like. You know what I mean? It's like,
I think what Cardi B is doing is a friend of mine. He told me over the summer. He was like, keep your mind open to social engineering. And since he said that, I've definitely been doing that. And I think Cardi B is kind of like she's part of that whole social engineering. Like she has a song out. I only know it because dance group that comes to my job dances to a song that she had, and I think the song is called No Limit. I think that's the name of the song. She's in the song, and she's talking about how if a guy's spending money, he gonna fuck. Like basically telling these girls to be whores. It's real, and it's already known that Cardi B is a stripper. She's a stripper from New York. And what's important is not us, like, because to a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 14-year-old, we're old. And Cardi B is young, and she goes with one of the Migos, is one of her boyfriends. So that's who they look up to. I always say, like, when I think of hip hop, I think of I think of Rakim in the I Ain't No Joke video when he was rapping on 125th Street and he was in the playground rapping and Flav was dancing.
mm-hmm.
That always to me was the epitome of a cool ass. That was a motherfucker. I just wanted to be that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I wanted a DJ in the back. I wanted to rap, whatever. Like that was just a cool ass scene for me when I was 9 years old and I was looking at that. And to kids now, Cardi B is what they want to be. And they kind of are engineering what women, because it mostly affects women, and I guess gay males, what they should want. It's kind of sad. It's like, because they think that it's normal. I mean, you gotta realize they only a 10 or a 12-year-old. Just because you're 10 years old doesn't mean you have 10 years of even being cognizant. You may have about 5 or 6 years of being cognizant, of even knowing anything.
Right.
And they're being fed these images of prostitutes and strippers, and like the men aren't even really men. Like,
yeah, what was the boy who was sucking on the machine gun?
His name.
I heard about him.
His name was I don't want to misquote, but it was like Jerk Boy. His name was like Jerk Boy. He's a guy from Florida, and he had on a wedding dress.
Yeah.
And he was sucking a machine gun like it was a penis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think his name is New Age Jerk Boy. He's married to the game. That was the name of the song. He was married to the game, and he was, and it's like he was feeding off of. He was basically feeding off of Young Thug's energy.
Yeah.
You know, Young Thug did his album cover when he had a wedding dress on, or what appeared to be a wedding dress, and Young Thug is obviously he's obviously appealing to homosexuality. He's very popular, and like I said, you always have to kind of. Like I said, we old. Like we done seen it. It's kind of like what our parents were thinking about rap when we was young.
Now, when back in '92, right? When C. Dolores Tucker was smashing the CDs, I think now we have to have a movement like that, and it's kind of ironic because I think that their anger towards what we were listening to was misplaced, and it's funny how. Mm-hmm. Some of those people are still alive today who were like, they were mad at Das Effects and they had like a Tribe Called Quest album in that pile and they steamrolled all these tapes. And now you see what's going on and nobody says anything. Like that's the weird part. And I think the agenda that's being pushed now is way more detrimental to these children than it was to us.
Well, I don't even think we had an agenda I don't think there was an agenda placed on hip hop until, like I always say, till that Brand Nubian video came out. That's when I believe that they realized, because before that, hip hop was like our thing. It was like some shit the ghetto kids listened to. Pretty much, it was like drug dealer music. It was the music of the underworld, pretty much. It was a culture. It was an underworld culture. It was literally an underworld culture.
Right.
And I don't want to say like underground. Like it was like it was the music of the drug dealers. It was the music of the kids that rode on walls. It was the ran in the subway tracks and the rebels. We're vandals and criminals and shooters. Like that was the culture of hip hop. So nobody really cared what they were saying. And then when that Brand Nubian video came out, the Wake Up video, the real version of the Wake Up video, because you can't even find that version anymore.
I know. It's not even on YouTube. It's not even on YouTube.
Yeah, you can't find it anywhere. Luckily, I found it on an obscure website and I downloaded it, so I have it. But I believe that was a turning point for hip hop because that video was played on MTV and BET. It got regular rotation, but it had a visual of a white devil.
Yeah.
And in the video got banned, and then they had to cut the white devil out. And the white devil was passing off kilos of crack or cocaine to the drug dealers, and he was trying to feed the children pork. He was, and then that video came out, I believe, in '89 or '90. That album was recorded in '89 and '90, and it came out. And then after that, gangster rap was elevated to a new level. Hammer, who had been out, because he was out. His first album was it Let's Get It Started?
Yeah, I think that's what.
I think that was his first album. He was kind of like a marginal rapper. He was a rapper. Then he kind of blew up with the Genie Pants. Then you got the Vanilla Ices. This all came out. You even had in the late '80s, you had Public Enemy, who was very, very conscious and militant. From, like that first album came out in '87. Then in '88, the second album came out, which was even more militant. And then they got fame, but they were kind of like put in a box of revolutionary, and then they were kind of juxtaposed with the Eazy-E's and the Too Shorts, and the gangster criminal shit like that. It took off, I believe, after that Brand Nubian video. Like all that shit took off because I think the powers that be saw what was going on. They said, "Oh," I think they had to listen and they had to sit like these niggas are talking. When did X-Clan come out?
X-Clan came out in 90,
right?
90, 91, I think.
Like 90 or 89, yeah.
Around the same time, because they
was,
still had the Poor Righteous Teachers, and it was a lot of that.
Yep.
Even Jaz-O and Jay-Z did. Jaz-O had the 7 and the Crescent.
Oh yeah, he had the Ansar Jalabia on. He had and
don't forget Gangstar was doing their thing too.
Yeah, Gangstar, he was dressed like Malcolm X in his first video.
Yeah, the Manifest video.
And this is all like the late '80s. This is all like it's somebody else. You had King's son, who was you would see him in his. You had Lakim Shabazz. You had all these guys that were like either 5%ers or Pan-Africanists.
Yeah, so it went from Run DMC having a good time to Rakim and Kane talking this 5%er, and then Chuck D and KRS-One, and then it gets really deep in the early 90s, like 89, 90, 91. It gets really deep. And then I noticed, yeah, you were right. After Brand Nubian comes out, then it's an overabundance of gangster rappers. See, I think it was
the overabundance of the bullshit.
Right. Because when NWA first hit, when it's NWA and the Posse, nobody, I mean, people liked it, but nobody's going crazy over them dudes. And it's not rare for new people to come out with a hit single. But when I look at hip hop and I see the conspiracy is a hit single could do something for one group that it can't do for another. Like I even got it to Dot X and them on Twitter because I was amazed that they never went gold or platinum. I said that's impossible because Slow Down probably had a run from 90 to 92, constantly on the radio, constantly played at the house parties. Everybody loved the songs, male and female alike.
Slow Down is still being played now on the radio. Like when they do the
right.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I was just spitting line. Willie got a pair of my sneakers. Wonder where he got him out my sneakers.
Yep.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yep. It's still being played now. Like it's still being played like at the lunch when they play the old school music at lunch. And then the Saturday night party music, they still play that shit. So, yeah, that song is almost 30 years old.
So, and my question is that song? Now let's really gauge it and really be honest, that song held more weight than Juicy did when Big came out. Because everybody wasn't on board with Juicy.
I still don't like Juicy. I never did. I liked Unbelievable.
Yeah, I like that
beat mainly, but I didn't like Juicy at all.
It seems like
I didn't either.
Big's ascension to the top was manufactured. It just seems like that to me.
You know, people probably didn't like Juicy because that came out in like 93, which was like the 93, 94 was like the pinnacle of sampling. And like, you know, you got to find your obscure beats.
Yeah, dig deep in the creek.
This motherfucker came out with Juicy Fruit, like some Matume. Like, you know, it's a song that you probably would hear on DAS. So, you know, and then you had Pete Rock sampling records that, you know, he had to go to North Carolina to find. You know what I'm saying? So that had a lot to do with it. And then it was like, you know, when Juicy came out, it was like around, you know, Wu-Tang was out. Hip hop had kind of it was like a fork in the road. You know, you had the flashy shit, and then you had the real shit went along. You know, you got to look at it like a train veering off. One train go one direction, other train go the other direction. It was kind of like you had the Black Moon, you had the Wu-Tang, you had Tribe, you had all the real shit. You had the train where hip hop should have been going on that track, and then Puffy comes out with his machine. And, you know, you had Snoop.
And that's weird because, you know, Puffy, I mean, the flavor in your ear, that Craig Mack John was like right in line with what was going down. Like, it was a good song. Now, he wasn't, you know, super lyrical or nothing on there, but it was like right in line with what was going on. I think Craig Mack his album is underrated, in my opinion. And I couldn't understand how Biggie even propelled higher than Craig Mack, because Flavor in Your Ear is a way better song than Juicy. And then what was the next single that came out? Big Papa. I didn't really care for that, but I understand that the ladies liked it. It had the R&B feel. And I did like One More Chance. But you see, he had to remix that, and he stole Big L's beat. Before Big L got to shine on his own shit.
Yeah, that's another thing too. He took Nas's album cover idea.
He was a biter.
Baby.
I mean, I'm not really trying to trample on my man's grave or whatever. I think he got it together with the second album. Second album to me is a way better project than the first one. But when it comes, like, in my opinion, there's no one act bigger than hip hop. So even the God MC Rakim, if he was messing up and he made something whack, I'm man enough to say, yo, Rakim shit was whack. I'm not just going to say Rakim, everything he do is golden. So I'm not going to say that about Big. I'm saying Biggie's first project to me was lame. It was, a lot of people love it though. But I think what people love was the time it represented, the era. You know what I mean? You probably heard it a lot, you know, and, you know, people got introduced to weed real heavy back then. So it's probably tattooed in their psyche somewhere. I get that. But to say that the bull elevated hip hop to some certain level is untrue. He brought it down a notch, him and Tupac. And now we're here.
I think with the
Migos.
What it was with Tupac though was people loved Tupac's energy. Like, you know, he wasn't like a lyrical great, but he was just somebody. Tupac was somebody that probably, like, I would say everybody wanted to be like roll with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, he seemed like a nigga that, you know, you have a lot of fun with this guy. Like, you know, he get around, he fuck bitches, he a wild nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just had an energy that people like.
I get that. I get all that.
I mean, looking back,
I get all of that. But when we're talking about the music itself, then I like to keep it right there at the music. Like, he didn't elevate the music either. He, like, for Biggie and Pac to be at the forefront of everybody's top 10, that's all manufactured. You can't listen to Cool G rap and listen to Rakim and say Tupac is on that level in any form or fashion. You can't say it. Or even an Illmatic.
Tupac didn't elevate the music; he elevated the culture. Like he took the culture somewhere else. Like he didn't. I'm like you said, I don't want to shit on his legacy or nothing like that. Or he's a dead man now, but he took hip hop to a wider audience. Whether that's good or bad, like I'm not gonna say that's good. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but musically, he didn't do anything like lyrically.
All right,
like
when you think about the let's look at the class of '94, right? And you hear Illmatic, and you're hearing I guess anybody from Wu-Tang,
Ready to Die,
and Ready to Die, and then he's the Snoop Dogs, and it seems to me like
the Cow came out, right? The Cow came out that year, right?
Yes.
The Method Man's first
Yeah,
album.
it came out at the end. It came out in like October. Yeah, it came out like October or November. It came out around Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
'94.
When you think about the hip hop, like what was good, what was like, I'm not even getting into like who these people are as far as characters, but just put the tape in and let the tape rock. And the music is very high level at that time. But Snoop Dogg comes in and he basic, but he blow up. Big come in and he basic. Like these are C plus MCs at best, but they are propelled to the top. And I've always wondered, like, how is that possible?
It's the machine behind them.
Right.
I mean, you got to understand it. The industry is not the same anymore, but it was a machine. It's a machine. It was a machine that's been around probably 100 years before we was even born.
Because here's my theory on it. Talent is power. Because, it's only one Michael Jackson. You can't you couldn't make another Michael Jackson if you tried. He was magic. You know what I'm saying? In hip hop, you have these types of characters, and they have like, you probably never make another Rakim. We almost got one with Nas, but you'll never make another Rakim or a Kane in '88 or nothing like that. Well, at least they think you can. And they were able to be lyrical and capture the crowd at the same time. So they have to run interference. Snoop Dogg is so basic. You could, if he like, I guess, bucks the system, right? You could pluck him out his seat and put somebody else in there, and then you ain't gonna miss nothing. Cause Tupac, Biggie, Snoop, and all the famous guys, anybody could do what they do. And that's why so many MCs probably now, because a lot of these kids grow up and they listen to this like, oh shit, I could do that. Now, when Rakim and Kane was doing it, I never thought I could. Oh, this is something. I can't rhyme. I can't rhyme compared to them. I wouldn't even attempt. Yo, you gotta shut it down.
That's a great point. But we grew up watching them, and they were great. And a lot of these kids grew up looking at Soulja Boy. Like that Soulja Boy song came out like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago.
And
that's
the Laffy Taffy,
a little younger than Soulja, huh?
And the Laffy Taffy song.
Well, Laffy Taffy, I believe Laffy Taffy is the worst song to ever come out in the hip hop genre. I think that's the worst. I believe that's the worst song of the genre. From the beat to the rhyme, it was the worst.
I thought it was a joke when I first heard it.
That's the subfloor of hip hop. That's the lowest it's got. We had some low shit, but I think
that's worse
than all bottom.
Yeah, it's worse than Ice Baby.
I can safely say that might be the worst.
Worse than Vanilla Ice.
I mean, just even with the beat, like, I mean, I can definitely go into, like, even the beat is just so stupid. It's just something that a kid could have did sitting in the hall in the aisle at Toys R Us. You know, the dun, 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 it was just, and it was a hit. And I don't know. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. I have to agree.
I think that's hip hop's lowest point.
Yeah, and I would say that Illmatic is hip hop's highest point.
Yeah, it's the pinnacle. Yep, I would agree with that too.
And
agree with that.
I think even Jay-Z, if you listen to Reasonable Doubt, even he had to dumb his lyrics down to where he wasn't super lyrical because people they're not really digging it. Like, people don't want to hear they don't want to decipher, like, what do you mean by that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to think. They just want to party and dance. But I think it's a good mixture between, like, I think the roots, Black Thought is a genius at that. Because Black Thought could say something so dope, but he grooving like it's not, like it's not that deep. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's able to rock to the rhythm and really, keep the music, hot. But his lyrical content is super deep. Because, right now people gotta consider him as one of the best to ever do it. I mean, his catalog is long enough. He ain't got no mistakes. I don't think he ever said, and I think he might be one of the only rappers I probably heard everything he did. I don't know, but I heard a lot of his stuff, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
He never said nothing whack. Everything is on a 10. Everything, like when you do guest appearances, everything is on a 10. So and then the fact that he never comes up in the top 10 conversation is ridiculous to me. He's like an MC's MC. Behind, like, Jay-Z would probably give him his props. Nas would give him, like, yo, he's the guy. You know what I mean? Eminem will say Black Thought, but the average rap fan won't give him his props.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that part of what we need to do as far as the youth is we passing down hip hop, we got to pass down the information. I think what we doing is we letting the industry tell the children what's hot and what's not. Because for Lonzo Ball to say Nas was like that baffled me. Like, and then who are you to even speak? You can't even speak on it because you wasn't there.
Yeah, he's like 20 years old. Like, he's like 20, which is like he wasn't alive. He born in 97 or 98 or 96. Like, come on,
but
man.
You know what?
Like,
that's really no excuse, honestly. If we're talking about hip hop, he doesn't know what hip hop.
I'm not giving
no,
him.
I'm not saying he did, but I'm just saying
he has no ground to stand on. He wasn't alive. He wasn't there.
But I'm just saying he didn't have to be there. Because if you talking about hip hop, he should be man enough to do the research. He should be man enough to be like, yo, he should know what's good and what's not. Like, we wasn't around to listen to Coltrane and Miles Davis, but you could appreciate, and even if you're not a jazz person, you could appreciate the skill and the talent them brothers had back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say Coltrane was whack. He can't blow the horn like Kenny G, just because Kenny G is more modern or something like that. Like, you're supposed to know your lane, and you can't speak on hip hop, especially if you ain't taking it personal. If you ain't really digging in the crates, if you ain't really listening. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
Yo, some dudes are like really, really talented. And what Nas did on Illmatic, it can't be. That's why nobody tried it again. That he captured lightning in a bottle. You're never gonna have those dope beats over those, under them rhymes ever again, probably in hip hop. That's lightning in a bottle. And there's albums that have come close, like Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em and Sunrises in the East, Reasonable Doubt. but I don't think anything.
Yeah, and Raekwon's first album.
Yeah, Purple G.
Very.
Yeah.
Even links.
Yeah, man, they really did a number on hip hop, and it's like, but see, now my concern is hip hop and how the children are affected by it now, like, cause it's really dumb now, which I think, being an adult looking at them is making them dumb. Now it could be the opposite. I don't know, but that's just from my point of view. It makes it look like, because that music is dumb. It's dumb music to me. You know what I'm saying? That young.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the social engineering. It's part of the kids are being socially engineered listening to that shit, man. I mean, that's just all it is. Like, I mean, because they're not saying nothing. It's basically just fed off the images. They put out all these videos, and everybody shit is on YouTube. I mean, the music is not that great. Like, you got Lil Uzi. His promo pictures for his newest album is like he's like a demon. That's so against what hip hop is. Like, you look at I guess the first people, and I hate to even bring him up, with culture and hip hop was Africa Bambaataa, like in the Zulu Nation. Like those were the first. Kool Herc didn't necessarily come with any culture. He just was, DJing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Africa Bambaataa was kind of on the 5%er train. He was kind of on the Dr. York train. And he was, he said he named the Zulu Nation. The Zulu Nation because he was watching Zulu on television one night, like the movie Zulu, where the British were in South Africa killing up the British people. They was the invaders, and he said he wanted to name his crew after them. So from its inception, hip hop has been about culture and about godliness, and all the rappers that are 5%ers or influenced by the 5%. And then you fast forward to 2017 and you got one of the hottest hip hop artists is a demon? Like he has demon wings and he has horns on his head? Like it's not even that shit is not even what black people as a whole are into. Like, of course you can go to some communities and you can see them writing 666 everywhere and demons and shit. Black kids is not even into that. And then you look at Lil Uzi, who's from down 19th and Fairmount. Nobody from 19th and Fairmount is a demon. Like, they just regular young boys trying to smoke weed and fuck somebody. That's just what they are. But now you get into the industry and you got tattoos all over your face. You got demon wings. You got the big dumb boots on. You got horns on your head. Like, where did that come from? Because that didn't come from North Philly.
Absolutely not.
So where does this come from? Like, it's just so obvious that this is where they're being steered to do. Because you can go to North Philly right now, and nobody's dressed like Lil Uzi Vert. Most of the people from North Philly don't even look like Lil Uzi Vert. I don't know where people look like Lil Uzi Vert at anywhere in the United States.
In the gay community,
Lil Uzi Vert looks. You know
what I'm saying? Like in the gay community,
I didn't hear.
Oh, I said in the gay community.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's he kind of represents that whole movement, like the feminization of the black male, and he's the piper leading the young black males down that path. That's my take on his. That's his agenda. That's his movement. Because hip hop started off Like men had to be men.
Exactly.
Okay, if you go all the way back to Melly Mel and them, they were being like Rick James type men, seductive men. You know what I mean? But then Run DMC comes out and they change it to now men. You have to be man's man. You're tough.
Well, I think Melly Mel and them was just trying to ride the Parliament wave.
Yeah, they said they admitted they was trying to be like Rick James and them at the time.
Yeah.
They was hot. But Run DMC made it street, made it hard, hardcore, and you had to be a man's man, fight, fisticuffs, you know what I'm saying? And then it went like that for years. Then, it got then it got overdone, like with the, now everybody's shooting everybody in their raps. So now we got, these guys, geez, they dressing up like girls, they skipping down the street. I don't know.
Yeah. They totally effeminized. Like this new wave of rappers that I see when I go on YouTube and look at some of the video blogs and shit. Like I'm noticing that they all kind of got the funny looking dreadlocks, that's colored. A lot of the dudes is they mixed race dudes. Like you got these little pips and trippy reds and 69s. And, like all these dudes are like pseudo black people. Like they're not even like, they kind of look black, but they not even really. I'm not gonna say they're not black. I don't know what they are, but I know they all have the same kind of look. They all look kind of dingy. I don't know, and that's what's being promoted to the kids now. Like I said, I don't know where in the black, because
now do you call it
like that in New York?
Let me ask y'all both this real quick. Do y'all think it's hypocritical to be a parent and be like, yo, I don't want you to listen to that, and not letting them find their own types of entertainment?
No, I wouldn't tell a kid, my kid or any other kid, not to gravitate towards what they like, because they're gonna do it regardless. And you trying to stop them is only gonna make their quest even stronger. So the best thing you could do is just guide them. Like, my son is about to be 15, and he listens to a lot of that stuff, and I tell him, like, because I'm his dad, and I know how I felt about my dad, and I know that my peer group was more important. My peer group's thoughts were more important to me than what my dad thought. And I would just tell him, like, when my son looks at Young Thug, like I seen watching Young Thug videos, some other weird gay looking dudes, I just let him know, like, you're not supposed to, you a man, like, you're not supposed to wear a dress. And he's like, yeah, I know, Dad. And I'm like, don't be doing the shit that you see these cats doing. Like, of course you can listen to it. I ain't gonna take your phone away from you, and I'm not gonna do none of that. But I think as a parent, your role is just to guide them, because they're gonna seek that shit out. They're gonna seek it out anyway. It's gonna be there.
Yeah, I think, for me, it was my daughter would watch, the stuff on like Love and Hip Hop, and I would be like, yo, cut. Like, I would try to be like, yo, cut that off, because it's such a negative, like, it's, and I feel like I'm being hypocritical, even though I feel like I'm saving her at the same time, because I know for me, I was listening to hip hop strictly for the vibes, like I love the music of it. You know what I mean? even though I admired Rakim and I admired King, I didn't want to be them. You know what I mean? I wasn't that type of person. Like I took it for what it was. So I could listen to a lot of different types of hip hop, and I wasn't influenced to the point where I wanted to be them. You understand? I just really enjoyed the music, and I would hope and pray that's how my child views the stuff. But I think that it has such a negative like influence out here in the street. I think it's more like we got to really rein it in now. Like you got to really monitor what these kids is looking at. Cause
I mean, what I do is I know my parents took that approach. Like my pop used to like when I was in high school, he used to like run up in my room and like take my CDs and stuff. Like they had the parental advisory stickers on them. So what that did, it was like counterproductive for him because it just made me want to listen to it more. And then I would
exactly.
Friend house and listen to the music, or friends in school. They would dub me copies of the CDs and everything on the 90-minute XL tapes, and then I would just listen to them like that. So I still would listen to the music anyway. So I just take a different approach. Like I kind of like I look at all the mainstream rap and all the nonsense and the garbage, and I encourage. Well, I'll listen to it like with my son, and even sometimes I'm like my daughter, but I like critically like analyze it and try to get him to think like, okay, this is what they saying. Like, why is that cool? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I try to confront it head on, just so because if I think it's some bullshit, I want to try to get them thinking like critically and like so they could like be in the mindset of like critiquing it themselves. So when they're on their own, with their friends or at school or wherever, or they, when they're in their mother's cars or in somebody's car and it comes on the radio and everybody like listening to it, then they take the time to like think about what this rapper is really saying. So then they just gonna be in the car looking at the rest of everybody else like what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, why is this cool? Like, why y'all vibing to this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's my hope. You know what I mean? Like, so whereas, because I think like knowing from my own personal experience growing up, like, my parents did the best that they could. They did what they thought would be effective, but it was ineffective because I didn't really understand. I didn't really understand. Like they wanted to keep me away from it for a reason, but I didn't understand that reason at that age. Because I was young and I didn't know shit. But I try to like expose my children to the reasons why they shouldn't want to fuck with it. You know what I mean? But I want them to discover it on their own. So I want to expose the contradictions, like just to get them to ask that question on their own, like, yo, like, why does this make sense? Or like, why is it cool to like have that type of regard for that black woman? Or like, why is money so important? Or like, why do we always have to hype up all these like white businesses and white restaurants? And you know what I'm saying? Like, we black, why can't we talk about the black restaurants, or like having our own clothing lines, or all this, or doing our own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to try to get them to see that, because it's really, I guess it really is good. Like, it's good material if you want to expose, like, neo-colonialism. You want to expose white supremacy. It's so much material within that you can just meet it right there. Like every song is basically a commercial anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember, like, Malcolm X on the Battle of the Bullet speech when he has that line where he says, every time you take your money into a white neighborhood to spend it there, and in an attempt to integrate that white neighborhood, you're basically making your own community poorer and poorer. So when I think about that, like, every time I hear a song and it's like somebody shouting out, like, this white, foreign car company, or this, like, Gucci belt or whatever, or anything European, anything Arab, when they talk about hanging out in Dubai or whatever, that's like the same thing. Like that's making the black community poor, because you basically advertising, you talk about an experience of spending your money with other people, spending your money with white people, spending your money with Asian people, spending your money with Arab people. So to me, it's like the same. It's that exact thing that Malcolm was talking about back in like 1964. So.
Well, let me ask you this real quick.
That's what I try to do. I try to do that, like, with my children, like, put it out there like that. So I get them to see how ridiculous it is.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you put your children on to the stuff you used to listen to?
Yeah, so that's another thing too. Like my son, like when he got to, my son, I guess like years ago, I remember when like 2 Chainz was real popular, and this was like maybe, man, what year was that? It was like maybe 2008, 2009 or whatever when he came out. My son was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was sitting there thinking like, I would not respect myself as a man if my son ever walked around here talking about 2 Chainz was the best rapper alive. So I was like, yeah, I got to expose them to some quality rappers, even if their content is problematic. It's still like Jay Electronica said, like, you know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, like Wu-Tang and them, like they were still talking about, you know, guns and drugs and girls and everything, but they were poetic though, at least. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, you know, so I do like, you know, expose my son. I need to do like more of that. I was thinking about that more recently, like, you know, taking the time and being real intentional about like, all right, I want you to be exposed to like Nas's whole catalog, or all the different members of Wu-Tang, like each of their solo projects, at least their first one, and you know, or Old Redman, or like, you know what I'm saying, or take it back to like the Gangstar albums. You know, speaking of Gangstar, I was gonna post this the other day. I think it's unfair that like Guru had like DJ Premier like all to himself. That's unfair.
Yeah.
It's like an
yeah, he was unfair. And you know, the label put them together. They were both on the same label, but the groups broke up, and they wanted to stay, you know, signed to the label. So what was they labeled? They was on Chrysalis, I believe. It was Chrysalis.
Yeah.
And Chrysalis said, "Well, you two can form a group," and that's how they got started. They weren't even like friends. They were just 2 people signed to the same label.
Yep, definitely worked out. Definitely.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, not to say that Guru was like a weak lyricist, but I mean, he has some quality bars, but I just think like, you know, Premier for every beat.
Yeah, he was very, very lucky. He was very, very lucky.
Yeah, he was blessed.
I think my son, he like I got a chance to scroll through his Spotify, I believe it was. It's on whatever's on the PlayStation. You get like a free membership or whatever. And I know I exposed him to music just by being in the car. I just put the iPod on. I got like 8,000 songs on my iPod, so it's just constantly playing. And I was very surprised to see that, you know, his Spotify was a lot of songs that he hears me play in the car. So it was like, you know, I never forced, because I work with kids, so I see how, like, forcing shit, like I see what the children of the strict parents, you know, they always find a way to get away from that. So, you know, I never forced my son, like, to listen to, like, yo, you should listen to this Nas shit, you should listen to this Rock M shit. I just put it on, you know, and he might say, what's the name of that? I like this song. Can you play it again? Like, you know, it's like, that's how I kind of exposed him to it. Like, and you know, if he wanted to listen to some of that, I never told him not to listen to what he wanted to listen to. So, you know, you gotta mix the medicine in with the honey and shit. You know, you kind of
yeah.
So,
because that's what I do when we on long road trips. I have my iPod playing. Some of the stuff rubbed off, like even my niece and my nephew especially. They have a good sense of what good music is. Like, they put me on to some stuff. Like, my niece put me on to Solange, her last album.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Real nice.
You know what I'm saying? Her album is good. She make way better music than Beyonce, and it's like, but she don't get the fit. Like, that's the crazy part about the industry. It's like you can see how they shy away from real talented people. They want a real cookie cutter type of person that can be replaced if that person was to get out of hand. Like they don't want any more Michael Jacksons or Whitney Houstons or even Prince.
Stevie Wonders.
Yeah, no talent. Just 16 bars, hook, 16 bars, hook, and close out the song. That's it. It's like too many 16 bar spitters and not enough artists. Like nobody's really.
That's why you get these string of songs from like the last fucking 8 years of just, you know, these one hit wonders. You had, remember you had Trinidad James, you know, you had 2 Chainz, you had Designer, and right now you got Cardi B.
Yeah.
You know, you got these, every year it's a song from a person who made one song.
Bobby Shmurda.
And then, yeah, Bobby Shmurda. You know, it's like every year, like for the last, it's going on 10 years, you get a character that comes out like these, and these motherfuckers are really characters. Like they're really characters. Like Trinidad James was a character. He was like the dude off Martin. Jerome. He was like Jerome. He like Bobby Shmurda was just like Bobby Shmurda was the ultimate goon. Like he was just the ultimate goon. Like the nigga really rapped about somebody killing somebody a week ago. Like that was the popping and shit in the song. Like just caught a body about a week ago, and one of his friends killed somebody a week ago. Like it was, you know, it's these characters. And Designer was like last year. He was the greatest thing since peanut butter and jelly, and he disappeared. Like he's gone. Like he had the song of the year. He's gone. He was just like he didn't know what he was saying. He was just like he was like a slow kid. Like walking around, he needed a helmet on his head or something. Like he was like that. Like
right.
And it's like you get one, and the character of the year now is Cardi B. Like she's a character. Like you said, she sounds retarded. Like when you hear her, it's like is she slow? Is something wrong with her?
Yeah, because that's what I thought. Like what? Like she sounds slow. Like she's in the slow class. And I said, at least Nicki Minaj had some type of, you know, she had some type of delivery that you could mistake for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But this
and it's kind of like what you said too. Like when you said you could plug and play these characters. Like you can take Designer and he could be Trinidad James. You know, or you could take Bobby Shmurda and he could be Cardi B. You know, you could just, you know, you switch a few words around. You know, you could.
Or he could be Young M.A. because I thought Bobby Shmurda. Young M.A. was Bobby Shmurda.
I forgot about Young M.A. Young M.A. was last year and Designer was 2 years ago.
And I said,
I forgot about her.
I thought that was Bobby Shmurda's. I thought that was his second song. I really did. That's how out of the loop I am. I was like, damn. And that's how that goes to show how much these songs sound alike. These people are they just plug it in components, like they just part of the big machine.
Yeah, it's plug and play.
Yep. Because it's crazy how like there's no real talent. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
And the thing too, like, which is surprising, is the amount of ghostwriting that's going on. Like, it's just like it's not even like nobody's even writing their own raps. Like,
and that's the strangest thing in hip hop. Is like, why would you write a rap for somebody else when you could write the rap for you and make the money? Because you don't need a voice. Like I can see if my vocal cords was broken, like DOC. Then all right, yeah, say these rhymes for me. Then that's acceptable. But hip hop ain't like R&B. Like you don't need nobody to write your rhymes for you. But see, they make Drake. They have the guy. He's in pocket. They have Drake. They have Wayne. They have these guys, the Eminems. Now, but what happens is they don't they run out of, things to talk about. They ran out of steam. They shot their load. Then it's like, man, yeah, just put something together for me. I'll recite it.
Which is funny because Drake was Lil Wayne's ghostwriter for a time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think he was saying something about, I don't know if it was your nephew or one of your friend's nephews, was saying that Wayne was the best rapper to ever live.
Oh, yeah.
And
matter of fact, I should have had him on. I should have had him on tonight. I was lunching. And
it's kind of like, it's like to me, to us, I don't want to call myself the purist or, one of them lame ass terms or whatever. But when we were growing up, like, you writing your rhyme was part of the respect that you received.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, because it's kind of like what's coming out of your pen onto the paper is we're delving into the mind of the man, as opposed to like Luther Vandross or somebody like he's just singing a song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you gonna be? He's just somebody else. Who cares who wrote that shit? We here to hear him sing.
That's all.
Which is not what hip hop is. Like, we want to know, the listener wants to know. We want to go into your mind. Like, we want to. What you talking about? Where you coming from? Like, what's good with what you're doing? And for this generation to look at Lil Wayne as the greatest anything, and he had Gilly the Kid writing his rhymes, and he had Drake writing his rhymes. And I guess Young Thug was probably writing his rhymes for a spell. Like, you have all these people coming out that are famous. They got famous for writing somebody else's rhymes, and now they got ghostwriters. It's just such. We are so far gone from when hip hop was at its pinnacle. It's sad.
Yeah, because if you go into, like, I guess if you believe in the Illuminati, and even if you don't, when you hear the stories about the Illuminati and their agenda, it kind of looks obvious when you say, well, why is he still hot? And he don't even write his own rhymes. Why is he still relevant? Why are we still listening to this guy? Why is he still getting, millions and millions of dollars? They finished.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might hear somebody like, somebody from the old school, like J. Rue the Damager, when he drops an album, nobody knows about it but him and the dudes who helped him put it together. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like, damn, you found out. I found out J. Rue got like 4 albums after Rap for the Math. And it's like, damn. Because there's no more Source magazine. There's no outlet for real hip hop. It's like really swept under the rug. And now, we older too. So we working, we raising kids. We not, like how we used to do back in the day. Like when we used to be down there checking for, at Art Minds all the time, checking out what's coming out next week. And we had a Source magazine that let you know months in advance when something was about to drop and you could get ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't know. It's no website. And it's like all this technology, but there's no outlet for hip-hop.
We coming at it from like I said, we coming from that reality. Like we the old reality. Like, a young kid now who hears something that they like, they'll just go to Instagram or Snapchat and just type in that person's name and like that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll know when they dropping a new single, when they dropping a new video, when they dropping anything. They're going on tour. You know what I'm saying? That's how the kids get their music now. But see, for us, we older, so we kind of used to it coming at us either through some type of medium besides social media, on print or video, on television. Videos now, television videos, that's the thing of the past. Like, you gotta watch shit on YouTube and Snapchat and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they're into. And see, we kind of like I'm overwhelmed with the music that comes out now. Like I can't keep up with all these cats now. because when we were young, when we was coming up, when we was loving hip hop, you know, you had about 10 record labels, and you knew who was on all those labels.
Mm-hmm.
You knew when somebody's album was coming out, because that's just how you knew who was on Def Jam and Columbia. You knew who was on Elektra. You knew who was on. You know what I'm saying? You knew who was on Jive.
Mm-hmm.
And then you knew who was signed. You knew who was signed. Like now, nobody's signed. Everybody is going for self. Like it's just whatever. Like if you popping on the internet, you popping in real life. Like,
right.
That's just what it is, man.
Abracadabra, poof. Here I am.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, you know, speaking of that, did either one of y'all catch the what's the boy name, the Joyner, I'm Not a Racist video?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw my son's response to it.
Yeah, I seen that too.
Yeah, how did you?
I didn't watch the White Boys. I watched the my son response.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched it and I thought it was creative, and it got a lot of pub, and I wonder, like, see, this is why I'll be wondering sometimes, is like, he got a lot of like quick response, like almost like it was manufactured, like it was put out there just for people that had it. Like he's somebody, because I never heard of this guy. And next thing I know, I look on my social media, I just see this white boy talking about I'm not a racist. So I said, let me click on this shit. And the song was pretty good. I mean, for a modern beat with no real drum in it, it worked out. Like I liked it. But I think the message was okay. It was like it was something different. Like I give the man an A for creativity. But I was really confused, like how fast it blew up. And it's like, is this the new thing now? This is what we're doing. Like you just put an album out on YouTube, because I don't know, is he signed? Is he famous? Like who is the guy?
I don't know, but that's one of the dangers of the internet actually, is because you don't know where these motherfuckers is coming from. You know, it could be coming from Langley. You know what I'm saying? It could be coming from Quantico.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all social engineering now. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers could be, that dude that you're talking about could be a fucking FBI agent, NSA agent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. He had
that Eminem flow. So it's obviously somebody who is a studier of rhyme patterns or something like that. Because it didn't seem organic. Like my son's was organic. His was more about getting the message. I think dude he's a pattern rapper. So it just screams.
Do a whole other show about that. About how the soul is, how we got the soul and they got the robot flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
It's a whole nother bag of worms.
All right, well, y'all, I'm gonna end the show right now, and I want to thank both of y'all for joining me tonight and having this discussion.
No problem, brother.
No doubt.
So I'll be back next week with another topic. All right, good night, everybody.
All right, peace.
All right, brothers. Peace.
You gonna stand there crying that back of the day. Dang, you back of the day, nigga. Ain't no nostalgia in that shit, man. It was just the street and the game and what happened.
I've been sitting here all day